game number 2 underway. I'm already losing my voice. In the bottom right corner of the map, we got one of my favorite European Zerg players, Team Liquid's Red Zerg Snute. Bias, bias, bias. In the top left, he's going to be pink. He's going to be Protoss. He's going to be Chubz. Alright, so I know a lot of people are giving me some shit, like, okay, Rip, you got a Snute bias, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't. But objectively speaking, I don't think Chubz played that game terribly, but it's hard for me to say that he really played that super well. Chubz is not a bad player, and I don't want anyone to get the misunderstanding that I think he is. Like, he played a lot of the game. Well, he got 4 bases, he got a good army up, sure. But he didn't really... I don't know if it's just a lack of scouting or what the case was, but he wasn't ready for what Snute had at so many different stages of the game. And, you know, no storms, no beatbacks for the Vipers. I mean, the Disruptors were good, but we never saw Lurkers come out, so they weren't really a super necessity. Snute's actually opening with double golds this game. Once again, if Chubz was the type of guy to go across the map and throw down 3 pylons, he would make Snute regret this decision. But if Snute gets away with 2 golds, I can't even begin to tell you how gross this is going to be. People asking what the Stimpack sound is. That is the subscription sound alert. We have one other secret sound effect that I don't want to explain. But yeah, when you hear the Stimpack sound, that is when somebody subs or resubs to the channel, thanks to Twitch alerts. Oh my gosh, I actually gotta talk to you guys about something. So, there's been... Hey, thank you so much for that demonstration, Liquidity C, 18-month resub. I was gonna say, I want to talk about the longer subs while we got the game starting up. So some of you have been subbed for a year, and some of you have definitely earned your Partouf coin. I gotta be honest though, since the start of November, have just not been able to get out to the post office and mail a lot of these out. I brought about 30 Partoufs with me with 30 envelopes. I'm gonna try and get caught up this month, I promise you guys. I know some people like Lee Omen, I don't know if he's here today or not, and some others have talked about if their Partouf is coming, and again, sadly, the way it played out for November, guys, was the first week, obviously, we were at BlizzCon. We came back on the 13th. And then since then, it was raining every day. And for those who don't know, from my house to the post office is about an hour-long walk. And I didn't want to walk through the rain. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. I had, like, out of 30 days in November, 10 days were power outages. Like, it was just a bad month. So, my sincerest apologies. But those of you who have earned your Partoufs, know that I've got them with me here in Toronto. We're going to mail them out at some point. I could have probably done that today, but I think I would have rather cast a tournament. It's more fun this way. So, right, super big love to all the big subs, and I'm sorry that it's taking so long to get your Partoufs out. Anyways, the Adepts get a couple of kills. Not bad. Most importantly, scouting. Even though he didn't directly scout the 3rd base up here, by not seeing a natural base, you can kind of assume that's the case. It's really bad if Chubz is going to assume that it's a 2-base all-in, but he's actually going to go scout. Super Saiyan 2 asking, do I get a coin? If you've been subbed for 12 months, send me a message on the channel, because what that does is it lets me verify you've been subbed for 12 months. Then I respond with a Google document that you fill out in order to get your coin, sir. So if you feel like you've earned a coin, just send me a message, 12 months on your resub button, and I will get you hooked up. Anyways, Chubz back at home is starting to get a bit of a wall off, so I think he's worried. He knows that Snoot's got a lot of lings on the way. He knows that this was a pretty gross gold opening, as we'll say. Thank you to Mescon for that sub. This is a full wall off, mind you, and these lings are going to have a hard time shipping through it, but with the mothership core out, hopefully can hold for a little bit. Greatly appreciate that new sub, Mescon. Thank you for joining us on this hype train today. Today's been an awesome day for subs, actually. Lots of resubs, lots of new subs. That's every Twitch streamer's dream. Unless you're one of the big dogs. Those guys just dream about like 500 donations. Fuck those guys though, am I right? AK Knight _SA also just subscribed to the channel. Big gratitudes. Snoot's just running around with a lot of lings right now, but honestly just providing pressure and keeping his opponent Chubz from taking a 3rd base kind of works to what he wants to do as well. For Snoot's sake, I mean, he could just go for bailing us and bust through this wall. He could throw tons of money and just bust through to his opponent's base, but there's no need to. With 2 gold bases under his command, he knows that in about 2 to 3 minutes, he's going to skyrocket ahead. We do have an Oracle that tried to get some kills. Looks like about 5 drones, not too bad. JTDC also just subbed for 10 months. Welcome back, Pop Frank. Big love. For an Orchid for 2 months as well. Today's going crazy. Usually about an hour into the cast, we're done. Nobody else resubs because they've all resubbed in the first hour of the stream. But we still got people coming in, and we still got resubs happening, and I still love all you guys. This Oracle's going to look for some more kills, but Snoot's got a Spore Crawler up. What do you mean can't install Windows Updates? I'm not trying to install Windows Updates. Leave me alone. I'm trying to get started. Okay, there we go. Out of the way. But there's Spore Crawlers in each of these bases, so these Oracles are not going to get too many more kills. The Adepts might, however, but there are Roaches on the way. There's Lings out. This, if they decide to sacrifice themselves to the middle line and kill a bunch of drones, they will, but they will also die and they won't have anything else. So if Chubz throws away everything here, that's his map presence, that's his pressure. Snute goes for a counterattack while this happens. Big surround on the third base, has to get cancelled, no chance to survive. Make your time, because all your base belong to him. The Adepts do tyrannically transfer over to the main. Oh, that's a really cool move. He's going to put down Stasis Wards and trap the Roaches, so that Snute can't necessarily reinforce this. He's going to bleed out a ton of drones if that's the case, but while the Adepts try and escape and run away. Oh, that's so cool. I really like that move. Most of the Adepts do die. I don't think they killed enough from Snute to really make this worthwhile. He is still sitting on 48 drones with 2 gold bases. I mean, this was a really cool move, and I super love that Chubz used the Stasis Wards the way he did. I thought that was awesome. But unfortunately, as effective as it wasn't effective enough. Now Snute has a very large army supply. He is going to mark across the map, and Chubz is making the right decisions. He doesn't have a lot to work with, but he's going for a Void Ray. He's getting some sentries out. For now, this is kind of what he needs, but I don't think it's going to save him. People are commenting on my walk to the post office. So we got the engagement going now. I'll talk about that afterwards, guys. The Roaches are going to be able to pick off these sentries pretty quick. The Force Fields don't stop much, and even if they did, he could have made some Ravagers. But the Pylons get overcharged. He's just going to be able to focus these down with the Roaches pretty easily. This third base dying is pretty bad for Chubz. He needs to get on the third at some point. So I'm going to have to cancel that once again. The Void Ray does reveal itself, and this could do a ton of damage. Roaches are really low. I don't know if Snute, let's just going to trade these out best he can. Pick off that probe, deny another turret going down. Savage is the beast known as Liquid Snute. Anyways, going back on my point, living in the city here in Toronto is crazy. I've never lived in the city, but I lived on my own before, but it was more of like a suburbs type thing. Living here in Toronto as Zombie Grub has been really eye-openingly interesting. Like, this building has a Starbucks in the lobby of it. There's about 1 million shops all within like 5-minute walking distance, and the subway station is 3 minutes down the road. That's insane to me because I live in, I'm not going to actually say where I live, but I live in a farm town, a countryside out in BC, and seriously, people say there's no taxi services. Fuck no. You have to actually call a taxi. It'll take 20 minutes to drive out there. You have to pay them for the drive over. You got to pay them for the drive itself. I've taxied to YVR from my house, and it's cost upwards of like $100 before. So in general, taxiing isn't really an option. As far as driving, I don't actually have a car, so I don't drive anything like that. So walking is really the only option. Walking isn't so bad either because the walking is a big part of how I lost so much weight over the last few months. Neither here nor there, but the point is, it's an hour-long walk, and I don't mind making that walk because it's an hour there and an hour back. It's more to the point that I don't want to do that in the rain, and that was what was happening for pretty much the entire month of November. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. As the game continues to progress, we're gonna have these mutas pick off the oracles. There are Phoenix on the way, but it's kind of late. Like Snute's already got way too many mutas out. This base is gonna get defended, and it's like, you know, I feel like the slow clap, like, congratulations, Chubz. You took the gold base, but how late and at what cost, right? He's going to turn on more Stargates. He thinks, this is interesting, he's actually misread this. He thinks Snute's going to go heavier into air, which a lot of Zerg players tend to do. In fact, there's a lot of very abrupt and lame endings to ZvPs that we've cast, where one player goes pretty heavy into ground, you know, Roach Ravager, and then swaps to 18 mutas. Bly is a good example of this. If you guys have ever seen Bly play, they'll just swap to like 18 mutas and end the game, and it's sad and boring and lame. And I think that's what Chubz is afraid of, which is why we got the second Stargate coming down. But that's not what's happening with Snute. He opens some mutas to pick off the oracles, get some presence on the map, but he is going heavily into these Hydras, Lings. He's got leftover Roaches from earlier. I mean, I would love if we saw that third combination of a Lurker dead, but even if that's not going to be the case, the Hydras will still get the job done. Mainly Hydra's a weird composition, and it worked in HOTS, and it still works in Legacy. It's just not... unfortunately, the timings are a lot different, and the economy of both players has changed so much that it's not the best to go for. But again, if he shows these many Hydras and Lings and Chubz decides to stop investing in the air, Snute could go for an air swap afterwards and catch his opponent off guard. But again, 5 bases for Snute. Half the map under creep spread. This army in the middle of the map looks like it wants to fight. Snute's got to bring his whole army with him, though. He's going to start a small engagement. The Lings burn a lot of force fields, and that's kind of cute to see. But the recall goes off to save the army. That's a smart choice, but he takes it to the third. Snute's already there. Snute's already on him. And that is a lot of Hydralisks. In fact, we got 33. Oh, gosh. Well, Lurker then starts up behind us, so if Snute somehow loses this, he's going to be able to remake on Lurkers afterwards, but that's going to be game. Good luck's going to get called. Snute's going to take this series 2-0 and move on to fight against Major in the round of 8.